Hey, everybody. Welcome to the latest episode of The Rock Experience with Mike Brunn. On this episode, I'm going to talk about my experience seeing Motley Crue in a small club in New York City. Lots to cover in this episode. I think you guys are going to really enjoy it. So let's jump in and let's get started. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the latest episode of The Rock Experience with Mike Brunn. Today, I have with me my buddy, straight from work at the end of a busy work day.
Have I ever worn a college shirt? I think
I
this is a
don't think
first.
so. I think this is a first. So everybody gets to see professional Vincent today. How you doing, buddy?
There's nothing. The only thing that's professional is me eating my bird food. That's it.
Well, I was going to say, so you got home from work, end of a busy work day, did not change so we could do this, but you
Less than
made
10
sure
minutes.
you made sure you got your bird food and your beverage.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. It's my fuel for this. It's
all
my
right.
fuel.
Well, I did tell you that if you didn't have the time, that it was, they were almonds. Very good. I did
Not
tell
just
you we
almond,
did
chocolate fill.
chocolate covered
all right.
almonds. I think for now on going forward, we just have to have Vincent's food product of the day as we do these.
I like that idea.
Oh man. But anyway, I said I wanted to jump on, speak a little bit with the professional. Yeah, that's what I'm going to call you this time, the professional, not the chemist. So you're the professional for this episode.
Yeah, what are we talking about?
It's good. You don't even know. So I said, what? Last night I went to see Motley Crue, small club in Manhattan. I said, I know I've had a few people asking me online about it. And I said, yeah, hold on for the podcast. There's going to be a nice little episode to talk about the experience. So I guess before I even jump in about it, did you know before I texted you that the Crue was even playing a small little club in the city?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I had a feeling. So yeah, it definitely kind of flew under the radar. They put it on their social media, I guess, last Wednesday, if I remember right. And they just, they never said that they were playing there, but it was crystal clear. If you just read their posts, it was crystal clear that they were going to be performing at this club. So they put tickets on sale on Thursday if you were a fan club member, and then Friday to the general public. Now, again, we're talking only 450 tickets in total here. So as you can imagine, tickets sold out in a snap, I tried both days. I actually didn't even realize I was part of the fan club. It's one of these things that you could sign up on their website. And, I did that a few months ago, I guess. And lo and behold, I got an email with a code to purchase tickets. I think tickets sold out that day within a minute or two. Wow. No surprise.
Well, 450 tickets for a band Motley Crue that's been around for a zillion years.
And so that store on the pre-sale, the fan pre-sale. So let's just say that they did a 50-50 split. I don't know what they did. You're talking only about 225 tickets available. Each person's allowed a maximum of 2 tickets. So now you're talking 120 people roughly getting in and being able to buy tickets. On Thursday, I was able to keep refreshing Ticketmaster, and every once in a while, tickets would pop up, and I would get all the way through to be able to purchase it, and then it would tell me, you lose.
By the way, thanks for the invite.
No problem. Glad I could invite you. So wait until I tell you the price of the tickets. Not that I paid that, but so then on Friday, the general public, I try again, and they go on sale at 10 o'clock, and by 10 o'clock and 30 seconds, the message comes up sold out. Right. So I was like, all right, I guess I lose. But I was watching on StubHub and different assorted sites that you could purchase resale tickets. And by Sunday, the prices had come down where it was basically the price of a regular concert ticket. So that's when I jumped in. I made the jump. The actual face value of the tickets were $19.81.
Again, thanks for the invite.
No problem. Have you ever been to the Bowery Ballroom?
I think so. Was that where Paul Stanley played?
No, I've never been to this place.
What was
And
the
the
place
place
that Paul
Paul
Stanley
Stanley.
played?
Oh God, you'll have to Google it and look it up. I don't know. Or wasn't it Irving Plaza?
Oh yeah, I think that's what it was.
I
Yeah,
think it was Irving
and
Plaza.
maybe I've never been to Bowery Bowl. Where is it?
Downtown Manhattan. Like, it was literally, I had to take the train. I took the train in, and then I had to take the subway. And it was the last stop in Manhattan before I went over the bridge.
I wouldn't have done it on damn subway. That's for damn sure.
Well, I looked because I took the Long Island Railroad in, and it was a 2.5 mile walk from Penn Station to the club. And I said, I'm not walking for an hour. So I jumped on the subway. And I'll say this, it was the first time I was on the subway in 20 years, probably. And I'll say, pleasantly surprised. It was clean.
Pleasantly surprised you survived.
I survived, exactly. No, it was clean with all the
Holy shit! No bullet holes.
No bullet holes.
No blood.
Oh man.
Wait, my clothes are still on. How'd that happen?
I wasn't mugged.
Yeah.
Wasn't mugged.
Muggada.
Mugged. No, I mean they had like electronic signs on the train that told you what the next stop was, and the next like 5-6 stops after that. There was
I know what this. I know what the
advertisements.
city's doing with my tax money foolishly. All right, I get it. You don't have to.
Well, you know what? I was happy. I was like, wow, I haven't been on the subway in probably close to 2 decades, and it was a pleasant experience.
I'm glad
Not
you had
what
a
I've read
pleasant
in-
experience.
Yes.
Well,
And
yeah, it's true. Every day I hear something new about the subway system.
exactly.
Sorry, I don't mean to bash New York City or here, but we're just speaking facts.
It's just, I mean, look, we both tried and true New Yorkers for 50 years plus, both of us, and it is what it is, right? I will say, I still, the news is what it is. I still think the city is better than it was in the 70s,
Absolutely.
But all right, so as I expected, you probably have never been to the Bowery Ballroom.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I had never been there either, and it's literally, how do I say this? I mean this in a loving way, but it's a little hole in the ground type of thing. I don't mean that in a derogatory way. You walk in. So first off, I got there right when doors were supposed to open at 7:00, right? And I was about 200th or so online. So I get online.
Run.
No barricades. No barricades for me.
Barricade run.
Look,
gotta get to that barricade. Double B. Double B.
Nope. There was no barricade for me.
No?
Nope. I was about.
Explain to people what barricade run is, just so because people, what's barricade run?
So every year,
I got a fresh taste of this during the Kiss cruise,
and that's where this all originates from, right?
Yeah.
So during the Kiss cruises, whenever they did the sail away show, I would always get there, like, I don't know, 3-4 years ahead of time. And I was on cruises that I wasn't supposed to be on, and I would just stand there waiting by the barricade for hours on end so that I could be right at the front, right? So,
Right.
But no, I did not do that last night for Motley Crue. I had to work first off, so I waited till the end of my work day, and then I took the train in. And by the time I got there, like I said, that was literally, I got there the minute doors were supposed to open, and I probably waited outside for 5-10 minutes. It was a beautiful day, so I didn't mind. I waited outside 5-10 minutes. They opened doors. They let us in. Like I said, I was about 200th online, roughly. So no barricade for me. I was about 7 or 8 people deep, center stage.
Okay, nice.
So no complaints to me. But it's interesting because you go into this place and there's like a little doorway, middle of the street, and then you go down a narrow flight of stairs. It's a small little staircase. And then you enter into a room that's just like a bar, and they sell merch over there, right? And I'm like, where's the stage? I don't even see a stage at this point. And then I realized, no, now you got to go back up a flight of stairs to where the stage is, because they're telling you, hey, if you want to go to a show, it's upstairs. You get up there, and look, with a capacity of 450, you can imagine what the size of the room looks like. It's a pretty tiny room. There's a little balcony area, probably for the VIPs and people like that. I was on the floor, but it's a small place, very small place. Yeah. And I get in there probably around 7:30. And I could see a sign that says that the band is going to go on stage at 8:30. So I'm like, all right, barricade run could wait an hour.
And this is Motley Crue, so
yeah,
we don't know if they'll be a timely, but we'll see, right?
Yes. And to their credit, they were on time. Okay, so and we'll talk about the performance in a moment. But it was interesting just like hanging out there for about an hour or so and talking to some of the people who were waiting for the show to begin around me. one of the guys, probably our age, right next to me, him and I talking for a few moments, and he's like, "Oh yeah, the first time I saw Motley Crue was in Nassau Coliseum in 1984. That's opening for Ozzy." So him and I just so happened to be at the same first Motley Crue show for both of us, which was kind of neat to kind of have that, conversation with somebody who was at that show. Then right in front of me are three girls, women. I don't know what the proper term is to use these days. They're 20, as I heard them say to somebody else, they're 26 years old. And I thought this is very interesting. Somebody said to them, "Oh, have you ever seen Motley Crue before?" He's like, no, it's our first time. So I'm like, "Oh, that's cool. They're getting there." In fact, one of the girls said it was their first concert. And somebody asked them, and I'm just eavesdropping at this point, "Oh, when did you get into Motley Crue? You're 26 years old." And one of the girls said, "Well, when I saw the movie The Dirt." And I was like, that's pretty ironic, because we've heard Motley Crue say they had this resurgence. They felt they did because of the movie. And there it was right in front of my face, three girls the same age as my daughter, basically saying they're into Motley Crue because of the movie. I just thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, well, I got to figure that, that definitely probably brought a different generation of fans, as you just obviously stated.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I think to watch that again. I think I only saw it the one time,
I think I saw it twice when it came out, and then I have to give it another viewing.
I almost feel like it was a one and done type of thing. Otherwise, I think I would have seen it again. But not to say anything bad. I thoroughly enjoyed it. But okay, so I did bring up the set list, so I'm already ahead of you. So I actually can see what they played.
Excellent. And we'll go to the performance in about 1 minute. So we're standing there, and one of the young girls is talking to a guy next to me that's probably like 50 years old also. And he's wearing this big leather jacket and all that. And they're just talking, whatever. And then she turns to me, she goes, "Where's your jacket?" Because I'm just wearing like a t-shirt or whatever. She's like, "Where's your jacket?" And I was like, "I left my jacket in 1991.
Yeah, good response. I retired my jacket in 91.
Yeah. And she's like, "Wait, well, what does that mean?" I said, "I'm too old to be in a club that's hot like this wearing a jacket." I said, I'm going to be comfortable here. And one of the women next to me said to me about 10, 15 minutes before the showtime, "Are you going to be moshing?" I looked at her, I said,
"Moshing?
Why look like I'm going to mosh? Come on."
Is this even a band to mosh to?
No, I don't think so. But she was concerned because she was, I'll say, middle-aged like us. And she's like, "Are you going to be moshing?" I'm like, "There's not a chance in the world that I'm moshing." If I could stand here for the next couple of hours, I'm happy. I'll be just stand still right over here. That's okay.
You should have said, "No, I'm not going to be moshing." But you happen to know if there are any pretzels available around here?
Yes, I should have. Well, I should have said, but if you're concerned, you don't want to get caught in a mosh, you could leave.
That's true.
But so at least that helped, I'll say, pass some time a little bit before the show, especially when at this point I'm like kind of packed in a little bit like that, elbows to the sides.
Hate that.
So
I don't do well in that situation.
Yeah,
anyway.
I contemplated, do I stay here for half the show and move back?
Were you getting like the shoves left and right, or you just basically compact?
I know, you know what? After a while, I was able to get a little bit elbow room. So, yes, I said elbow. So,
elbow room.
Elbow room. So, it wasn't as bad as I feared, but you were obviously a little bit tight, but it wasn't horrific. So, 8:30. There's a sign inside the club that said, like, near the bar, like it was one of these like paper printouts that they taped up by the bar, and I happened to notice it said band 8:30, doors, all of that information. So 8:30, I'm like, all right, this is going to start any minute. And probably about 8:32, 8:33, they walk out on stage, and no big fanfare. They had said that they billed the show as the band was called 1981, right? And they have this big 1981 sign behind them or whatever, but they just walk out on stage, and I am 20 feet from the stage. I'm like, this is a pretty freaking cool experience right here. Right now, I'm like, all right, I'm glad I bought this ticket. I am glad I'm here. I'm never going to see Motley Crue again this close. Yeah.
Let's preface this. There's no secret you made to me and maybe said on a podcast. Before they did the Citi Field thing that you went to see them with Poison, you said they were very boring. There was, you maybe saw them a couple times and you really was like, I don't know what it is.
Yep. I've seen them 3 or 4 times in the last, since they reunited. And, I felt at peace that I didn't need to see them again, but I felt this was an experience that was in my backyard, so to speak. That was too good to peer. Yeah, exactly. No, absolutely. Now I did see a lot of people online ahead of time because they were calling themselves 1981, that people thought it was going to be basically like a Too Fast for Love set list. I never thought that for a second,
Hmm.
but I'm sure there's people on, I didn't read it yet because I was busy working, but I'm sure there are people online today saying, oh, how could they play the regular set list? They call themselves 1981. That was just
They play Dogs of War. How dare they?
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. To me, I kind of knew going in that it was probably going to be a standard set list. And I also know when bands do these quote unquote surprise shows that they're sometimes a little bit shorter than a standard show. So I expected all of that going in. So for me, it was no surprise that they did basically a standard set list. And it was no surprise that they played for 70 to 75 minutes.
I'm going to fact check you on the. What does it say? It just has the amount of song, and it says start time 8:35.
Okay. Yeah. So I thought it was about 8:33. So, okay.
Yeah. And this is whoever posted this. Not that they could be,
Right.
the most accurate, but
and at this point, we're talking 2 minutes. So,
okay.
yeah. But I think they played about 70 minutes roughly.
Okay.
It might have been 69, might have been 72. I'll say 70 minutes. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And they start with
hour and 10. What? Hour and 10 minutes long. It says it ends at 9:45. Does that sound about?
Yep, that sounds right. Yep. So 70 minutes, exactly as I said. As you can see, looking at the set list over there, they start with a song that's probably of all of their quote unquote hits, my least favorite, Primal Scream. And all right, I shouldn't say this because I know I could read the comments already on this video without even having posted it yet. The mix on the first song was, the music sounded fine, the vocals were barely audible from where I was, at least. You could barely hear Vince Neil. And I'm sure people are going to comment, oh, that was a good thing. That was a good thing, or whatever. Enough of that nonsense. But that was, so the first song that I was a little bit like, I hope they get this right. Otherwise, I'm not going to hear like you could barely even tell somebody was singing. That's at least from where I was in the front. That's what the vocals sounded like. By the second song, it was much better. But the first song, I was like, I heard an instrumental version of Primal Scream. I basically felt like, yeah. I don't know if it was like that for other people in the club or not. I'll be curious to see if people who watch this and hear this, if you were there, what was it like for you on that first song? But the first song, I felt like I was listening to an instrumental, basically.
Well, it's a good thing that they got it sorted out after one song or during the first song.
Yep. And for me, if it was going to happen to any song, Primal Scream was the perfect song for it to happen to, because of all the songs they did, except for maybe the covers. That's the one I'm like, not a horrible song, but I take it or leave it. If I never see them do that again, I'm okay. So if that song I was going to have sound problems on, I was okay with that, But the second song they do is Too Fast for Love. And I can tell you, it was worth the price of admission just for that one song. The place was friggin' electric as anything when they went into that, They start the riff of that and then the whoa, the whole lyric, and the place, people are jumping and just the excitement in the room at that point. It was clear that people wanted to hear some of that old stuff, and the people definitely got excited during Too Fast for Love.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great song. I remember playing it fondly. It was always a fun song to play. People love that first and second album. If you're a Motley Crue fan, I mean, there's no doubt you could pretty much play both those albums in their entirety, and or play one of the albums in its entirety and have a great show.
Right.
So.
Right. But what surprised me, because I agree with you. So, like I said, the place was electric when they did Too Fast for Love. They also did On With the Show, which I've seen them do once before, but it's probably 10 years ago. And the place was lukewarm to it, which surprised me. I figured people would be thoroughly thrilled that they were doing that. And instead, it was maybe the least received song of the evening, which surprised me.
Yeah, I mean, that's another one I remember always. I mean, and just the theme, On With the Show. I mean, it's just like a great live song. So
it is.
I wonder if it's just less familiarity with the song. I mean,
could be. Also, I mean, the verses are a little bit more laid back, a little bit more low key, right?
That's true.
As opposed to like a Too Fast for Love or a Live Wire, where it's, I'll say aggressive. The whole song is right there in your face. Yeah. Except for the breakdown, obviously, in Live Wire, but you get the point there. But I mean, I thought they sounded good. Obviously, instantly, people are going to always be, what was Vince's voice like? What was Vince's voice like? you and I have spoke about this, whether it's Vince, whether it's David Lee Roth, Vince Neil was never a great singer. I don't care if you pull out those tapes from 1987. He's not the greatest singer in the world, right? And obviously with age, he's lost a few steps. I had no problem with the singing last night. Yeah, there's some of the high notes he can't hit or whatever. So same thing for most bands at that age.
Absolutely.
So, and of course, people like, oh, he's singing to tracks. He's not really singing. And being that close, that's something I paid attention to big time last night. And I can say this with 100% certainty. That man sings throughout the show. That does not mean that there's not backing tracks on the choruses. Motley Crue has been very open about that for decades, that they use backing tracks on the chorus. That doesn't mean that he's not getting help on some of those high notes in the chorus from the two girls that sing in sides of the stage. Could there even be some backing tracks there on like a certain high note or whatever? But you just watch him, whether it's singing, Too Fast for Love, Shout at the Devil, Looks to Kill. Those verses, he has to be singing it. It's in pot. I mean, I was watching and is just, he's not miming that. No how, no way.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I would think that would be a lot more to set up on a small, venue like that to get all that synced up. But, I'm not saying that bands don't do that, but
look, I saw Kiss at the Whiskey in 2019, and they performed the same they did the entire tour. Where Stanley went back and forth. That's just the way it is. Again, I'm not saying that Vince is not getting support during some of the choruses. Certainly the two girls, and I think sometimes people mistaken when the girls are singing that supposed to have been Vince. But I can tell you for sure when he's doing these verses, it's him.
It's I was having a discussion the other day very quickly about live performances because somebody asked me, how was your performance the other night? And I was like, there's a couple of times where I went sharp or I went flat, and I heard the video and I'm like, fuck. And I said, it just never was like that, 60s, 70s, 80s, even into the 90s. You heard imperfections.
Yep.
Now with all the technology and every band you go here, why does everyone sound so perfect? You don't hear flat notes. It just makes it so harder for I can't do all that stuff, nor would I really want to, be quite honest. I'd rather it be an honest performance, and it is when you hear the bumps and the bruises, because it's not about perfection, it's about live performance. And when you're jumping around and doing things, you're not going to be as stable, or whatever, or as perfect. So it's just the way what the industry has created. So when people could become very critical on a singer, I don't care if it's Vince Neil or whoever the hell it is, you know what I mean? It's like we've just kind of lost touch of the reality of live performance, and I think I kind of feel bad for the artist, and I'm not making an excuse for the Paul Stanleys and the Vince Neils or whatever, because if they just went out and did their thing, they would be like, what would they be ripped a new a-hole for more? The fact that they sound bad singing the real way, or the fact that they sound, or the fact that they're using a backing track to help out? I just saw a thing recently that like Don Henley was exposed from the Eagles.
Oh, really? I didn't see that.
And for a couple of years, like they finally figured it out. And I was like, wow, Don Henley. It's the Eagles. No way. They can't. And then I saw the video that supported. I'm like, oh my God, like this is like, and this is, somebody who's very active into, not that I'm saying he ever said anything like Gene Simmons said about, about we'll never use backing tracks, whatever he said, But it's just, I just think it's the pressure of the industry, what it does to the artist. It's like you're on such a high level, when you're, you could say, well, the Eagles are much bigger than Motley Crue, but it's two different things, really. They have the Eagles, one of the biggest bands ever. I think they still hold the record for the number one selling album. I think their Greatest Hits is still like the number one best selling album of all time. But, it's just a shame. I saw a video, and I feel like I bring up the Who every podcast just to
bust my chops.
And I heard,
we should go see the Who.
We should when they play all the hits.
But it was nothing but the hits.
It was like, this is Roger Daltrey at 80, and he's doing like See Me, Feel Me, and I'm just like, and I know he's singing. There's no way this is, because I could just tell and I'm like, this is just not normal. This is just every once in a while you'll hit one guy who just is a freak of nature. You know what I mean? But for the most part, every singer's going to have their issues as they get older.
And look, maybe during like something like Live Wire when where he sings like in the breakdown part, will be mine tonight, and then he goes like really up on that high note. Maybe there's something there with supporting him or whatever. I'm not saying that there's not. I didn't. But again, when you're listening to like the verses of "Looks to Kill," it was him. It had to be. It was just. It was impossible for it not to be him.
Again, I saw a video, and I think when I was learning "Here I Go Again" by Whitesnake, it might have been late 2000s. And there's no way that "Here I Go" note that he sang it live. I'm sorry, you watched the video. It's a great performance of the song, but you could hear that the choruses are pre-recorded vocals.
Right.
There's no doubt in my mind, and that's late 2000s. So they've been doing this, like you said, Kiss was doing it in the late 80s,
Kiss used backing tracks for some of their choruses on the Hot in the Shade tour.
Right.
I mean, that's indisputable.
And other bands did that before then,
Yep. So, look, Motley Crue has been very open that they've used backing tracks on their choruses again since the 80s. So, and look, I'll be honest, I overlooked the Kiss thing because it was their final tour, but I'm kind of against playing and singing against tracks and all of that. And I felt, in my opinion, that an overwhelming majority of what I was hearing from Motley Crue last night was actually live. I know a lot of people are making comments about Nicky's not really playing live. I didn't see that at all last night. Again, I noticed supposedly a video that there's like a bass part that his hands aren't on the bass and you can hear the bass. I can tell you, first off, I noticed last night, Nicky's a very talented guy, right? He's written a lot of their songs, right? So there's no denying his. But I can't think of another bass player that just kind of pounds the note the way he does. I don't know how to describe it as a musician, but he's constantly just like doom, 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 like on one note and then moves to the next one or whatever. Point being, there's not all these huge intricate parts on the bass that he's playing.
Yeah, I mean, there were some things, and again, I was more intimate with the music and playing drums, you lock with the bass player.
Yep.
On some of the older material that I'm not saying he was Jaco Pastorius, you know what I mean? But there were some more complex, not the word, but tricky parts. Let's just use that. All right, let's use that. But in general, yes, they were fairly, eighth notey, single note stuff that, just went along with the chords.
Right.
It's just so funny because it reminds me of that. I just want to get back on this vocal thing. So even for myself, and again, this is not about me, but it's just even for somebody who plays in a cover band, somebody saw that I use a vocal effects box. And you put it on your microphone stand, and it's just, when you don't have a sound guy and certain songs you want to have a delay, you want to have a reverb, it gives me the ability, when you're covering 38 songs, spanning all the way from Blondie to Metallica, there's a lot of different vocalists, and the way I am with sound and production. Anyway, I use this box and it has 3 presets, and somebody accused me of auto-tuning my vocals because I had a vocal box. So it's just the impression that people don't know what they're talking about. They see this thing and they just think that, he's not singing live. I just don't like that, that the industry has created that. That's my whole point of this whole thing.
Agreed. Well, that's because everybody's thinking they're an expert, and I'll put myself in that present company because I'm no expert, right? So, and everybody's got opinions. And there was a video, I think last year, of Motley Crue performing in whatever city they were performing in, and people started saying that Tommy Lee wasn't really playing live either because because he got back to the drums and you could hear like a hi-hat counting the song off, and he's not at the drums. Look, every band plays to a freaking click track now. Yeah, I'm sure that's what that hi-hat was, the count in for the click.
I'm sure it was. Sure it was, But look, and the other thing is, I think what's happened is when they make these shows so big, and as far as performance, it's almost like, and again, I'm not making excuses, but they have to have this safety net in case he doesn't get back to the microphone in time, in case
Which, look, again, I'm not a fan of.
I'm not either. I mean, there's that infamous video of Kiss doing Strut, or what was that in '76? Was it, or where the microphone stand falls down and she goes, "Everybody says she's looking good." He does that whole thing.
Absolutely, yes.
Imagine if they had the technology. Holy shit! Turn off pulse track. Turn it off. Turn it off. It's mic stand. Mic stand down. Mic stand down.
So true. But my point to bring this up, because again, I posted pictures last night as soon as I got out, and half the comments were about people saying, oh, well, they're really playing live, blah, 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 blah. And it's amazing for some reason. People just love to crap all over Motley Crue these days.
And you've said that, and you've said that recently. You know?
It is. I get not
is
nervous.
Vince still fat? Is Vince still fat?
Yeah.
It's like,
oh God,
it's like enough already.
Anytime I make a post about Motley Crue, I know I've got to just pay attention to the comments because it's just it's unlike anything I've ever seen in the 5 years I'm doing my site. That just the anger and the hatred people have towards this band. And I'm going to say this. To me, they seemed like they were having fun on stage last night. Yes, some of the tempos, like I think it was Looks to Kill, was a little bit slower than I would have liked to hear. No, Vince Neil does not sound like he did in 1987. But honestly, I still had fun. I still had a lot of fun at the show.
Now.
Yeah, I still had a lot of fun at the show. And I can tell you, so did the 450 people that were there. And last year, or whatever it was, 2 years ago, when I saw them at a stadium show with Def Leppard, everybody was having fun. Yeah. And I will stand by that.
I'm just reading your last comment. The band is a pre-recorded joke. Stop giving them attention. Hopefully they'll just go away.
That you
1 hour ago.
There you go. 1 hour ago. And look, again, I'm not saying that there's not some backing tracks on the vocals, especially on the choruses. It's not it's right. You see what I mean?
I'm reading these. Wow. Okay. Woo.
Yeah, you see, you don't pay attention to them the way I do. It's amazing that the anger and the hatred that this band has brought upon, and I'm sure some of it is that Mick isn't there anymore, and there's such loyalty people feel towards Mick. That's part of it. Some of it is they feel Motley Crue they said they were retired, they signed the contract, they should have. But look, Motley Crue is not the first band to say they were going to retire and came back. B, they're not the first band to replace a player, right? So I don't know. I don't get it. And I can say to you, the band seemed to be having a lot of fun on stage last night. Nikki seemed to be like on cloud nine the whole time. That's just the impression I got.
Was there a reason why they were doing this? Did they say, is it a warm up to something, or just?
No, I mean, they played 2 shows in Atlantic City over the weekend. I know that. And then they just announced that they were doing this in between. I think you have a show like middle of the week or something like that also somewhere, Kansas or where, I don't remember where. Why they did it, I don't know.
With or without the dust in the wind? Without
the dust in the wind, although Toto might be coming.
First, I was thinking the band. I'm like, the band? What song did they have?
I'm glad. After I said it, I'm like, boy, did I stretch that one a little too far? But
no, I got it. All right,
very good. I should have said like the Tin Man or something like that. Then maybe more people would understand what I'm talking about. But yeah. So I mean, the set list, like I said, they did 13 songs last night. I was not surprised at all that they didn't do Home Sweet Home. I figured in a club there was no way they were going to do Home Sweet Home. They don't have the keyboard, piano, whatever. I was surprised they didn't do Same Old Situation last night. But maybe just contractually, they were only able to do 70 minutes. Obviously the tickets were very cheap and the club has to fully staff for something like this. And they're probably contracted for a certain period of time only.
That makes sense.
And it's not like I haven't seen them do Same Old Situation half a dozen times at other shows. So it's, I could have done without You Gotta Fight for Your Right to Party. Yeah, that I could have done without a full performance of that. But hey,
is it because of the song, or is it because it's not a Motley Crue song, or is it because you just don't like the song? Let me know, because I'll take it out of my set list too.
Can you please take it out of your set list?
I saw that, I was like, oh, all right, that's cool.
Yeah. Look, everybody seems to be having a good time, and they did a good version of it.
It's a good. I mean, we usually do it like right before Rock and Roll Night, and you know what I mean? It's like you're setting everybody up for like the last couple of songs. They're in they're all thawed, hopefully you get them more thawed, so. Yeah.
I think if I was seeing Motley in an arena and they were playing 2 hours and they did that, I would have said, okay, fine. That was good, because it wasn't a bad version at all. When I'm seeing Motley in a club for 70 minutes, I just want straight Motley Crue songs. I know they do the medley. The medley of covers,
and they did your Blitzkrieg Bop.
But I was totally thawed about Anarchy, and they recorded that in '91, so I think that the Smoking in the Boys Room and Helter Skelter, right? These are all songs they covered themselves on albums, so I'm fine.
We did disappointed to do Like a Virgin. The covers.
Oh man,
opportunity missed.
Opportunity missed, and then I could have been like it was 1985 all over again when I saw the Beastie Boys open for Madonna.
That's
So,
right.
yeah, the
And they
connection.
got booed off the
Oh
stage,
man,
right?
I'll never forget that as long as I live. The Beastie Boys got booed worse than any band I've ever seen booed in my life.
Hmm.
You mentioned it before. They also did obviously their new song "Dogs of War," and I know we spoke about that a few weeks ago when the single first dropped, and I thought live I liked it better than on the record or
Hmm.
streaming, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I thought it went over well in terms of performance. I don't think the people in the audience. I don't think many people knew the song, to be honest with you, which
Yeah.
surprised
Probably
me. I
not.
figured 450 people there. It's all diehards, but
Hmm.
maybe diehards only until 1991. Who knows?
Right. 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 Right.
I
Yeah.
didn't get there, but Nikki did talk before the song about being a band for whatever 40 years, blah blah blah, and that the lifeblood of a band is putting out new material and writing songs, and that's exactly what they were going to continue to do. And you know what? I have to give them credit for that, because how many bands do we know from the 70s and 80s that just tour on their greatest hits and don't write new music?
Did he start off by saying, despite of what Paul Stanley thinks, the lifeblood of the band is?
He did not say that, but he did
Uh,
say about the lifeblood of the band writing songs or whatever. And I was like,
mm,
but good for them.
absolutely. I've been very vocal about it. I think it's good that bands are still putting out material.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep. And they did, I'll say from stage, hand out, I don't know, 20 some odd free singles. They were just tossing them out into the crowd for
Nice.
people.
Nice.
So I thought that was good. They did have them on sale there also. I did not buy one because I'm out of the vinyl business, but they did. I think they released 666 copies of the vinyl. I wonder why that number. What could that mean? Exactly. And they did have them on sale there, and I think that they have them on their website today, the leftover
Okay.
stock. So if anybody's
nice.
interested, and I think it was $20 for this, or $19.81, I think again. So
that's cool.
So yeah, and they had T-shirts for the show last night, specifically for the show, as well as I'll say like a lithograph poster. So I actually bought a poster, at the end of the night. They had both signed and unsigned versions.
How much were the
poster.
T-shirts?
$50.
Yeah.
To me, that's for better or worse. That's industry standard.
If anybody thinks to get a T-shirt for $20 again, like we did in the '80s,
no,
exactly. Ain't happening.
No, look, the fact that the ticket prices were under $20 is amazing to me. Face value.
Ticket price under 20, T-shirt 50.
Exactly. The lithographs, they were, like I said, they had two different colors. One was white, one was yellow. Same picture. Unsigned and then signed. And they only had, I think the sign, if I remember right, said 50 signed copies of the lithograph. So I'll put you on the spot. I just told you the T-shirts, what was it? $50. Lithograph, how much?
All four members signed?
All four members, yes.
500.
200.
That's not horrible.
No, I didn't think that, especially when it's unsigned, was 50. I didn't want to get one at the beginning of the show because I didn't want to have to hold it the whole time. So literally during Kickstart My Heart, I started moving back, like about 3/3 of 3/3.
That's the last
when
song.
The song was over, yeah. Right. So when I knew it was going to be the last song. So about 2/3, 3/4 of the way into the song, I started moving back. And as soon as they were done, I just went down the stairs. I was the second one down at the merch stand. Okay. And I was like,
Barricade Brun at its finest.
Barricade Brun.
Where's the barricade? I need a barricade.
Right.
I can't calibrate.
I can't calibrate. So as there's somebody in front of me, and I'm like, all right, do I buy the signed poster or the standard poster? Which do I do? And I don't know. I'm like, do I want to spend $200 on a signed poster? I don't know. I get up there and I'm waiting for the guy in front of me, and he's like, I'll take one of the signed posters. He goes, I'll take a second poster as well. And they hand him 2 signed posters, which was not his intention. He was intending to buy 1 and 1. So they ring him up. They say $400. And he's like, $400? Like, yeah, 2 signed posters. He's like, oh, all right. Yeah, I guess I'll take both. So, okay. So he goes and he's happy that he has 2 signed posters. So I said, oh, you have signed posters? Like, no, we just sold the last one. So I was like, oh, okay. So on one hand, I was happy because I was like 70-30 just gonna get the standard.
I would say, not having the original, like Mick Mars on there, I would want the original four. I
Right.
think I know nothing against John
Nothing against
5,
John 5 at
5,
all.
4, John 5, 4.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
I see
But
what you did
to
there.
me, it makes it more worth it if you get the original four guys.
Yes, I tend to agree. And I was happy that I didn't have to make the decision, because I'm afraid I would have made the decision I didn't want to make. And
Mhm.
oh, it's the last one. Oh, give it to me.
Right.
So I was actually relieved that
Yeah.
guy got the last two, and I just took my regular poster. But then afterwards, I'm like, if there was only 50, in fairness, because by the time I was done, there had to be 20, 30 people online for merch. In fairness to those other people, they should have been only selling one per person, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Because I guarantee you there was somebody else behind me that was hoping to get one of those.
Oh yeah.
And couldn't. So now look, maybe this guy was picking up two and turned around and handed one to his friend. I'm not criticizing. I don't know. Right. But
Right.
it was just funny the way it played out, where I was like back and forth. Do I, don't I, do I, don't I? And I was very glad I didn't. But yeah, look, to me, it was a fun night. If that is the last time I see Motley Crue, and who knows, it may or may not be, I'll be very happy. Saying that, I know my son wanted to see Motley Crue also, and I thought about taking him at one point until I found out it was 21 and older for the show, and he's just a couple of months short of that. So I'm sure if he wants to go see them at some point, I'll go again. But if I don't, and that's the last time I see them, I'm glad I was there. The hell with all the comments online. I'm glad I was there.
Yeah, I mean, I can't blame you for that. When often do you see a band at that, that magnitude, of that kind of success at a small place like that? It's kind of cool not to see all the lights and the bombs and everything else, and the roller coaster fucking drum set or whatever else. It's just, I mean, I somewhat kind of prefer that, to be quite honest. That's why I love that Kiss Cruise show that they played indoors, in the auditorium, whatever it was.
And Kiss on the cruise even had like a little bit of staging always on that. And think
Yeah.
about that auditorium held 1,000 people. This club held less than half of that.
Yeah.
So just to kind of put the size in perspective. And the Motley Crue stage was like just completely bare, to the point that like I was taking pictures and I could not all night get decent pictures of Tommy, because he was lower down. Like literally, like Vince, if he was standing, I felt like was like twice the height of Tommy Lee's drum set. And there was a cymbal stand in front of him. I could see him, but I felt like he was lower down than I was. I felt like it was really, and it just had like that really tiny club feel to it. There was nothing on the stage at all. It was just them, and a couple of amps.
Right.
So
cool.
Yeah, I thought it was very cool. I wonder if they'll do a couple of other shows like this across the country, California or whatever. I think they did one like this last year in England, but I wonder if they'll do a couple more like this, just spur of the moment, last minute.
I think it's kind of cool for bands to do this.
Yeah.
Because it shows you, like, we don't always have to play arenas. We can kind of go back to our roots.
Yep.
Obviously not going to get paid nearly the amount of money that they're going to pay in an arena, or whatever. So I think it's really, really cool, honestly.
Yeah. Like I said, I mean, the ticket prices were under $20. They clearly weren't. They could have sold those tickets, I'm sure, for 150, 200 bucks, and it would have sold out in a second.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they I felt like it was a way for them to pay back to the fans. Now I think a lot of fans ended up having scalp tickets like I did, but that's another whole problem altogether with the industry.
Right, of course.
But I think that's about it on my Motley Crue show. I look forward to, or not, reading it, saying the comments.
I was waiting for that. I look forward to it, or not.
Or not, to the comments. I'm quite sure people are going to say that I'm in denial, that 90% of the show was on tape, not the other way around. Again, I want people to hear me crystal clear. I am not saying that there's not some tracks using background vocals. I'm not saying there's not some help for Vince here and there, but I'm saying he would, no disrespect to Vince, I don't think he has the determination, I don't know what the word is, to do like Stanley did, to go back and forth with this. I don't think he's putting in that time. And it's just, you could hear the way he's singing the song. It's not like standard phrasing. There's one time he stopped singing, he asked the crowd to sing. It just, it's impossible. He was singing, except for the few times where he just got like a quick little vocal enhancement. And again, the two girls off on the sides of the stages, they're singing a lot also, so don't discount that. But again, I look forward to the comments or not.
Yeah.
If you're not into Motley Crue, that's fine. I have no problem with that. Then just say, hey, you know, they're not my thing anymore. And I understand that, you know, that they're not as dangerous as they were in the 80s and early 90s. I understand that, but you don't like them, that's cool. You can say, I'm not a fan anymore. Nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
You stick to it.
That's right. So next time there's another club show around the neighborhood, I will make sure not to invite you to that one also.
If it's Alice Cooper, please.
Okay. Okay, I will. Yes. On that note, everybody, I guess my question to everybody else is, what is the smallest place you've ever seen a big headlining band? Like I just saw Motley Crue play with 450 people capacity. I know Kiss at the Whiskey was similar, I guess, for me as well. But what is the biggest band you've seen in the smallest setting? I'm kind of curious about that. So there you have it. That's my question for everybody. As always, buddy, I'll let you take off your work shirt now.
Actually, I'm so comfortable. I think I'm just going to keep it on.
I think you should go to rehearsal in that shirt tonight.
I am. And I'm actually going to play a bass that matches it too. That's why I'm not changing it.
Okay, that is good. Well, as I started saying, as always, I thank everybody for watching, listening. And with that, I will leave Vincent with the double Ringo to keep it simple for him, and appreciation of him joining right after work today.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
Alrighty, there you have it. My experiences seeing 1981, also known as Motley Crue, at a small club in New York City. As always, I welcome all opinions and all comments. I just simply ask that everybody keep it respectful. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit that subscribe button below. If you're listening to one of my podcasts, subscribe over there as well. Also, head on over to Facebook and follow my page, The Rock Experience with Mike Brunn, where each and every day we talk about all the rock and roll music that you love. You could also follow me on Instagram and Twitter as well. That's it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. See you all next time.